For the past.
Thank you. I'm out of time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Murphy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Bozell, I wanted to give you a second chance to answer a question that Senator Van Hollen put to you. I don't want to litigate the specific question of the persecution of the Afrikaner people. That's a policy that the administration has announced that I understand you will support. But Senator Van Hollen asked you a really simple question, like a layup question, and it is concerning to me that you couldn't give an easy, straight answer. He asked you, should we have a race-based refugee admissions policy as a nation? In other words, do you support having a refugee admissions policy that admits white refugees only? So let me ask you that question again. I don't want to get into the specifics of the Afrikaner issue. Do you support having a refugee admissions policy in this country that only admits white refugees?
Senator, I don't make that policy.
Well, but it's really important. But I think this is if I were to ask this question of virtually any nominee to be an ambassador prior to this panel, that would be an easy layup answer. No, of course we don't support having a refugee policy where we only admit white people. So why can't you give me your personal view on that?
Because, Senator, I am here to serve America and to do what the president is asking me to do. I'll be following the executive order of February.
Would you support reinstituting laws in this country to only allow white people to vote?
Senator, I'm going to serve as ambassador to South Africa, and I'm going to focus on that.
You will not share your personal views on whether it is right or wrong to reinstitute discriminatory policies in this country to prevent black people from voting?
Senator, my personal views are irrelevant. I am serving here to do what the president is asking me to do in South Africa.
Well, that's just simply not true. The whole reason that you're appearing before this committee is because your personal views, your history is absolutely relevant to your fitness to serve. We wouldn't have this process if your personal views were not relevant. That is pretty stunning that you will not share your views not only on whether we should have a refugee admissions process that is race-based, but you won't share your personal views on whether we should reimpose discriminatory treatment against black Americans. That is absolutely relevant to your qualifications to serve, and your refusal to answer it, I hope, is something that every member of this committee will think about. Mr. Ghalib, I don't think you are qualified to serve in this role, and I think that you have dug your hole deeper today. In response to Senator McCormick's pretty simple question, you refused to support maintaining Israel as a home for the Jewish people. I just don't know how we send an ambassador to the Middle East that doesn't support protecting Israel as a home for the Jewish people. I also just want to make sure that you're being, well, I mean, Senator McCormick asked, you can answer it again, but Senator McCormick asked you that question 3 different times, and you had ample opportunity to state that you believe that Israel should be protected as a home for the Jewish people.
Can I clarify that now?
I mean, I think it's pretty important to understand your views on this. Pretty stunning that you weren't able to answer that question 3 times when asked by Senator McCormick.
Well, I supported the president's plan, which means that there would be a solution.
It doesn't matter to me whether you support the president's plan. Again, this idea that your personal views don't matter is ridiculous. Do you believe that Israel should be protected as a home for the Jewish people?
I believe that, and I believe it can be a home for the Jewish and the Arabs and the Muslims and the Christian as well. And that's why it's a diverse land for the 3 major religions. I think they can coexist, all the nations in the Middle East, based on the peace plan of President Trump that I support strongly.
I just want to ask you to present something to the committee. You've been asked questions today about your refusal to condemn this outrageous statement by a member of your city government. The statement, again, is the Holocaust was God's advanced punishment of the chosen people for the savagery that they've committed against the innocent Palestinian children and civilians. You were asked to comment on this. You refused to comment on it. I think that's disqualifying in and of itself. But in earlier questioning, you said that you did condemn it at the time. We have seen no evidence of that.
Senator,
So is there evidence that you condemned that at the time?
I did tell the media that I don't agree with them and I condemn. They were concerned about disciplining.
There's evidence of that? You could present this committee with those media reports?
I would, and I say it now, let me be clear. I condemn that and I disagree with them. Their concerns was why didn't I fire him? He's a volunteer in the planning commission.
I'm simply asking you, we have not seen any evidence that you publicly condemned that post. If you have claimed that you did in a public way.
I did disagree with him.
I'm simply asking you to submit that information for the
Thank you.
record because we have not seen that.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.